It's time for the 1430 Connection on 1430 WNAV and 99.9 FM, spotlighting news, newsmakers, and important community issues. Now, with this week's edition of the 1430 Connection, here is WNAV news anchor Donna Cole.
Welcome to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. I'm in the studio once again with the Rear Admiral Frank Thorp IV, retired U.S. Navy. He's the chair of the commissioning committee for the USS Sioux City, and we're getting kind of excited because it's right around the corner.
Yeah, Donna, we are very excited. The time has finally come. Years of effort to put this together, and years of excitement and years of participation and enthusiasm, like WNAV being involved from the very beginning, and it's now happening. It's right around the corner.
November 17th.
That's exactly right. The commissioning will happen Saturday, November 17th at 9 a.m. At the seawall on Dewey Field. And Donna, it's like a World War II-sized destroyer coming down the Severn River. I mean, in today's Navy, people think of destroyers as being 500-plus feet because today's Navy, we have big destroyers shoot Tomahawk missiles.
Right.
These ships, the littoral combat ship, which is what the kind of ship the USS Sioux City is just short of 400 feet. So think about a football field and another third of a football field. Mm-hmm. And that's the size of destroyers back in World War II.
Right.
And so that ship is going to come sailing up the Severn River, turn around, and moor up against Dewey Field where the midshipmen play soccer.
Pretty cool. So for those out on the bay, we are not at war. This is a ship that's coming up the bay into the Severn River for the sole purpose of being commissioned at the U.S. Naval Academy. Registration is over, so there are no more tickets, but there are tours of the ship available, yes? Yeah,
there are definitely tours available to the general public, and we'll give those tour information. You have that tour information to put out as well. As the ship comes in, another great opportunity is to go down to the seawall at the Naval Academy and watch it come in, or if you haven't winterized your boat, to get out on a boat. And as a matter of fact, the Eastport Yacht Club is going to render honors to the ship. So as the USS Sioux City comes up the river, you'll hear a cannon fire, and that's the Eastport Yacht Club rendering honors. And the ship will be in uniform, what they call manning the rails, and they will salute in return. It's going to be a pretty cool day. Tugs, shooting water, etc.
And be prepared for those cannons. Again, we are not at war. This is one of our newest Navy ships being commissioned at the U.S. Naval Academy. Okay, for those that might have missed all of these shows and all of this hubbub prior to this one about the USS Sioux City, it's a cool ship. You've already alluded to that it's a cool ship, but it's an interchangeable module ship. There's two different crews for the ship. Explain that a little bit more.
Sure, I sure will. So a littoral combat ship is designed to go in shallow and to go fast. It's designed to compete against diesel submarines. It's designed to go in shallow against threats like small boats when the Iranians shoot boats at us, send boats out at us and threaten to shoot. It does 50 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. It's a jet ski, and so it doesn't have propellers. And again, designed to go really fast and really in shallow. And with your point about modular, you know, Donna, sometimes technology outpaces the life of a ship. So think about 30 years ago technology and think about the leap will be 30 years from now. So what the Navy's done is designed this ship in a modular way that they'll be able to pull the combat system out and replace the combat system and still have the hull and all the engineering, the machinery that's still intact, because that technology, that can be updated, but it's the major technology that the Navy wants to be able to pull out of the hull and then replace it with new technology.
And how many of these ships are there?
So this one is LCS 11, so it's the 11th LCS, and the odd numbers are the monohulls. Mm-hmm. As you said, there's two different kinds. Odd numbers are the monohulls, even numbers are trimarans. And so right now the Navy's looking at building about 40 of them. So it's early on in the class, and a long way to go before they complete the class. Is the Navy's building from 300 ships now, just short of 300 ships, to about 350 ships in about 15 or 20 years.
Okay, and to go through the timeline, 15 February 2012, Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus announced LCS 11 will be named the USS Sioux City. There was never a ship named for Sioux City before, and the people of Sioux City are very much on board with this ship. They've been involved from the beginning, yes?
They are so excited. I've had the opportunity to go out to Sioux City 6 times as part of this effort, and what a great city. For those of us who love Annapolis, It's the same kind of feeling out in Sioux City, Iowa. They are a proud people. They love where they've been born and brought up. Bunch of family businesses and American flags, just like on Main Street, where you go up and down Main Street here, you see American flags and Naval Academy banners. Out there, you see American flags and Sioux City banners. It's a very similar feel. Very proud people.
And some of these people are no strangers to Annapolis. They have come to the Naval Academy. I've met a few myself on the announcement of the commissioning date. The Chamber of Commerce president, mayor of the city as well.
Yep, the mayor's been here. The president of the Chamber of Commerce has been here, and he's quite frankly so excited about this. As you said, it started back in 2012, back when his daughter was probably a 7th or 8th grader. She's now a plebe at the Naval Academy.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's really cool. All right, we're going to take a short break and run through some of these other big key dates in the ship's history so you know where the ship has come once you see it on the docks of the Naval Academy. This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will be right back. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole, and in the studio with me today is Rear Admiral Frank Thorp IV. He chairs the commissioning committee for the USS Sioux City. We've been talking about this for a long time, the commissioning, because the Navy can't exactly know what date a ship will be ready, what date all the trials will be done, and especially adding ice into the scenario. And ice was a big part of this scenario because it was built in Wisconsin and it has to come through icy waters or not. It has to sit it out through the winter.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Last winter was really tough on the ship. She was about ready to go when the ice hit, and so they've used the summertime to finish up the ship and do the training ready to go. So she's had several successful sea trial periods.
All right, so going back in history, 16 March 2012, contract to build the ship awarded to Lockheed Martin. 19 February 2014, keel laid at Marinette Marine Shipyard in Marinette, Wisconsin. 30 January 2016, launched and christened by the ship's sponsor, Mary Winnefeld. Tell me who Mary Winnefeld is for those that don't know her.
So Mary Winnefeld has a long history of supporting sailors and more recently soldiers, airmen, and Marines. Her husband is Admiral Sandy Winnefeld, who is a retired 4-star vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and his father actually was commandant of the Naval Academy when I was a midshipman. But her entire adult life, she is really committed to supporting sailors and helping them out, helping our families out. And the idea of a ship sponsor is really to imbue her personality on the ship. And she is so enthusiastic, so supportive, and she's actually a part of that crew right now. They treat her like a shipmate.
She's been a huge supporter of the Navy and Marine Corps people, and yes, perfect person to choose for this. 25 May 2018, completed builder's trials. 22 August 2018, in a ceremony held at Fincantieri Marinette Marine, the U.S. Navy accepted delivery of the ship from its builder. That's a big deal because if we had not accepted it, it meant that there was something wrong with the ship. The ship is ship-shape is what it means, yes?
That's exactly right. And it was only when the ship is accepted that to your point earlier, that the commissioning date gets set.
Right.
So that's why we only set the Navy set the date in August, and we've been in a full sprint getting ready for that ship to get into Annapolis tomorrow.
So before you walked in the door to the studio here, I asked you, is this the toughest job you've ever had? And you said toughest volunteer job. Would you raise your hand again for something like this?
Not right now. We've got about 25 volunteers doing this here in the city of Annapolis and a bunch in Sioux City. And I got to tell you, the volunteer effort has been tremendous. People who have busy lives otherwise are just really kicking in. And then also, they're outside their comfort zone. I mean, none of us have ever put together a commissioning. So I first and foremost want to take my hat off to all the volunteers who have done it. And then also, I got to tell you that the city businesses like Watermark and Katzif Brothers and Annapolis Collection Gallery, they've all piped up and really been supportive because we want it to be an Annapolis experience. And when you think about Annapolis, those are the companies you really think of, and they've been really, really a big part of this.
So for the next people looking at becoming, down the road, the heads of commissioning committees for the USS, you fill in the blank, would you sell this job to them? Could you sell? How many friends have been made through this?
A lot of friends.
Countless, right?
Countless friends, memories of a lifetime. I mean, the event itself, I tell people it's going to be a memory of a lifetime. Putting it together has been a memory of a lifetime. Don't tell them I told you this, but the co-chairman of the commissioning committee out in Sioux City, Iowa, has really become like a brother to me, and that's what happens. And would I encourage people to do it? Absolutely. In my case, it's my opportunity to give back to Annapolis from growing up here and give back to the Navy, who helped me become who I was. And I think that's where we've got to be in our life is how do you pay it forward and how do you pay it back for those people who have really helped you become who you are. And anybody out there thinking about doing this, I got to be honest, it's a lot of work, but I got to tell you, it's so incredibly rewarding.
Were you gray before this whole process started?
Well, my sister says I was, but I didn't think I was.
And do you owe your wife a vacation now?
Well, yeah, she's actually one of those volunteers. She's coordinating the reception on Friday night, and she's got a full-time job. So I think I owe her a vacation, but it's going to take me a couple days after the ceremony's over to recover before I could even think about a vacation.
Fair enough. We're going to take another short break. We'll be right back on the 1430 Connection. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. I'm in the studio with Rear Admiral Frank Thorp IV. He's the chairman of the commissioning committee for the USS Sioux City. Will be commissioned right here in Annapolis at the U.S. Naval Academy, November 17th. It's been a long time in the making, and he's just about to be able to breathe easily once we're all through this. All right, so there's a lot of events surrounding commissioning week. One, you're going to see the boat coming up the bay and Severn River, and that's part of the fun. But beyond that, you have tours of the ships. You have kids visiting the ships, yes?
There's definitely tours available to the ship and all that. I strongly encourage the public to visit the ship. I mean, it's a chance of a lifetime. I mean, to be able to take your kids, or even if you don't have kids, just to be able to go down and tour a Navy ship, and quite frankly, to see the crew. I mean, the ship is magnificent, and we talk a lot about the ship. But there's two crews on the ship, port and starboard. So as one crew takes the ship to sea, the other crew trains. Okay. And a lot of their families will be here. So there's 100 people per crew. So about 180 sailors and a bunch of their families will be here. And you know, they get paid adequate wages in today's environment, and all that's good. But we've really got to send a message of appreciation to them, because they're raising their right hand and agreeing to swearing to an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So these are young sailors. Everybody's kind of young to me at this point in my life, but 25, 30 years old. And so when you see them walking up and down Main Street, you see their families. It's great if we just give them a warm Annapolis welcome, thank them for what they're doing, and send them off when they commission on the 17th. Let them know that we really care about what they're doing.
It's
and we
a big
appreciate
deal.
it.
You know, you and I didn't see this until after 9/11. The thanking, yes.
Right, that's exactly right.
It's a big deal. It's a big, and I to this day don't know how to respond. I'm sure you're a little bit the same. It's such a feel-good moment, but it's still odd being in the military prior to 9/11 when that didn't necessarily happen.
Yeah, you know, I lost my office when the plane attacked the Pentagon, and I like you, I'm still uncomfortable responding to thank you for your service. I don't know how to answer. I recently started saying to people, thank you for your respect, but it means something to people.
It does.
When you're doing what you're doing, it's hard work, it's risky, and it's, you know, we look at what's happening here in the United States. These sailors, they're facing that all around the world all the time, and they're targets. And so we can't say enough. We can't do enough for them. And words are the most important. Words and our actions are the most important, just to let them know that we know what they're doing, we appreciate what they're doing, and we care about them.
All right. So students visiting the ship, schools, yes?
So we've got some students visiting. We unfortunately, when the ship had an engineering problem, and unfortunately we were unable to pull off a day's school visit. And so now what we've done is coordinated with all schools, let them know the times that it's open, including Veterans Day. Sunday is actually Veterans Day itself. Monday's the holiday. So there's ship visiting times, and that's and all week. And so I would strongly encourage people to kind of take the opportunity on Veterans Day week, to go down and visit the ship. And
so for those that aren't familiar, that might be coming from points away from Annapolis, you come through the visitor gate at the Naval Academy. You will go through a metal detector, and you will have to show a government-issued ID. Children, as long as they are with an adult, can get through the gate, and it's not a bad walk. It's actually a beautiful walk right through the academy, yes? Yeah,
exactly. And the other thing I would add, Don, is wear comfortable shoes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people don't think about that, but a ship is a ship is a ship. And so walking up, we call them ladders on ships, as you know, and they're stairways, but they're really ladders.
You do not want to be wearing high heels. in other words.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
More about the week's festivities. What are people going to be saying? Fireworks? Are fireworks part of this?
No
Okay.
fireworks are part of it. You'll see some tugs spraying ceremonial shoots of water as the ship comes in.
That's an honor. It's rendering honors. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And then there's several events during the week. Eastport Yacht Club is hosting a Veterans Day picnic for them. Watermark has donated Catherine Marie, which is that big, what I call the wedding reception boat. They've donated that for a picnic for the crew, what I coined the cruise, CREW apostrophe S. And so they'll have an event to go out and see the river that's on Wednesday. And you'll see sailors walking up and down the street. And actually the city businesses in Annapolis have gotten together and offered discounts to the crew. So the crew will be wearing red wristbands. And city businesses have offered to give them a discount, kind of as a welcoming opportunity. And then you'll see the families around, and then you won't see any of them Friday or Saturday morning, the commissioning day. The commissioning ceremony starts at 9. And then that same day, we'll host a tailgater for them at the stadium. So if you're going to the Navy game, if you're going to the Tulsa game, we'll do a tailgater for the crew. Stop by the crew and say hello to them. And the commanding officer, I think, is also going to be involved in the coin toss for the game. So
go Navy. No Tulsa fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, what else have I covered? The list of speakers for the ceremony, has that been settled yet? Do we know?
It hasn't been totally settled yet. The key speaker will be Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa. The Secretary of the Navy invited her to do that. The Chief of Naval Operations will be in town, Admiral John Richardson. And then Annapolis' own, the Undersecretary of the Navy, Undersecretary Modley, will be also a speaker. And it's good to have an Annapolis person on the podium there.
Absolutely.
In their Navy role. The mayor of Annapolis will speak, has a speaking role. The mayor of Sioux City has a speaking role. And there's a couple others that are still being determined.
And any midshipmen playing parts in this? Will they?
Midshipmen are playing a big part of it during the week. But I will tell you, it's secondary to their academics and all that kind of stuff. So they'll be at the event, at the ceremony, and things like that.
All right. What haven't I covered?
I guess the only other thing I'd cover, you mentioned about midshipmen covering it. There's a midshipman who is a senior, first-class midshipman, and she's going to serve as warfare officer, and she's asked me if I could do anything to help her get stationed on the USS Sioux City, which I just think is really, really cool. I don't think I have any pull to be able to help her.
Well, you and I were there last year on ship selection night when?
Yeah, that was so fantastic. You and I were when a woman picked the USS Sioux City, and I have to tell you, it really brought me back, 35 years or however many when I picked service selection. It's like the NFL draft.
You were jumping for joy. I mean, your response was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was really excited for her, and she was just really excited to be on the Sioux City, which I think tells you a lot about, the future of our country with the young men and women.
It'll be cool if she's coming back now. She was a senior, right? So
yeah, she was. So she actually
should be.
Yeah, I'll have to check on that, whether she's coming back. She probably is.
That'd make a good interview. Hint, hint.
All right. I got you, Donna.
All right. Admiral Thorp, thank you again for joining us.
Donna, and thank you for your and WNAV's community support and the information you put out about the community. You are truly an asset for this city, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will see you next week.